Welcome to The Rebel Rebel. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Michael Dargy. In every episode, we look for truly unique and interesting guests who have said, often literally, F it to the status quo and have just gone on their own way. One thing's for sure is that it's never easy, it's always challenging, and these rebels wouldn't have it any other way. Look for the links to everything we talk about in the show notes on our website at therebelrebelpodcast.com. Welcome. I'm in C-Space Studio with Colleen MacLean.
Hello.
How's it going, Colleen?
Pretty good. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And you came to C-Space wearing your super cool mask.
Yes.
Because that's the days that we live in.
Yes. And I was almost late because I realized in the car that I forgot my mask. So
yeah, I now have like masks strategically placed in all my pockets.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, I don't know if you ski or not, but you put a ski jacket away for the winter or for the summer. And then when you go back into it, there's like a $20 bill in one of the pockets.
Yeah. I had stocked up my bag with a whole bunch, but I realized that I'd used them all.
Oh, so, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Didn't want to use the used one in my car. So
right on. Welcome. And just to sort of bring us up to speed, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
You could start with kick-ass photographer.
Well, let's start with my day job first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm an environmental technologist, and I work at Golder Associates. And most people ask me right away, what is an environmental technologist? What do you do?
What is an environmental technologist, and what do you do?
There's many things that environmental technologists can do, but what I do is essentially take data that we've collected in the field, so soil samples, water samples, et cetera, and then I sort of crunch the data and write reports. So
nice. To what end?
To what end?
Yes.
To save the environment.
Yay!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
My group cleans up old oil and gas sites upstream and downstream. For one of our clients. So yeah, awesome. I sort of see the sites from, the beginning, like it's messy, it's just been shut down, to the end where we're trying to get closure with the government to say, yes, it's clean, we're good. And,
it works, so we can clean them up.
No, we're all screwed. Yes, it does work. Certain chemicals are more difficult than others, but yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay, so I have to ask, what brought you to being an environmental technologist?
Let's see where to start. Let's start when I went to university in Peterborough, Ontario, and I thought I wanted to do science, biology.
Okay.
And I got there and I sort of fell in love with the anthropology program. Oh. So I did a degree in anthropology with a minor in biology. But coming out of school, there's not, a ton around for a bachelor's of anthropology.
Sure.
Unless you sort of want to go do your master's and field work and all that other stuff. So, so I ended up just sort of floating around, not really knowing what to do. Ended up in like coffee shops and grocery stores and bakeries, working there, and eventually came to work at Indigo, the bookstore in Toronto is where I started, and I ended up having a sort of almost 10-year career there.
Wow.
I started as Christmas help and ended up as a assistant manager. So yeah, and I really, really quite hated it.
Like retail in general, or
retail in general. I thought, books, if it's going to be retail, it should be books.
Yeah. It's, I think a wise choice.
Probably why I stayed for as long as I did. Yeah. They were very good to me. It was just, I just don't really like interacting with too many people, especially in the retail context, which is usually complaints.
Yeah.
And
especially assistant manager. Can I talk to the assistant manager, please?
Yeah.
Somebody dog-eared my book.
Yeah. Yeah. There's often, tears in the office around Christmas with angry people, angry suburbanites.
But so, flash forward to how you got to Golder and Associates.
Yes. So I decided I hated it and I needed a change. So I just sort of looked around for, I figured that education was sort of going to get me to a new place, I guess. I was highly qualified to do a bunch of retail and customer facing type stuff, coffee shops, retail, that kind of thing. But I wanted to get away from the public as much as I could. So I just looked around at schools and what kind of programs are out there. And I looked at SAIT and a bunch of other technical colleges, and it's sort of weird trying to pick something because you're sort of saying this is the exact job I'm going to have. Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm going in to be a dental hygienist. Right. You know, there's no real sort of wiggle room there. If you hate it, then oops. Yeah. That's 2 years out of my life.
I didn't know I hated teeth.
Yeah.
It weird. Sucks. Teeth are just like little people.
Yeah. I love chiseling people's faces. Yeah. Anyway, so I found the environmental technology program, and it was sort of up my alley as far as science goes. Yeah. And it just seemed like a field that, you know, I can't see it going away anytime soon.
The environment will be.
The environment is around. Yeah. And it's messy. Yeah. So I did that, and it was a 2-year program. It was pretty intense, some pretty intense chemistry.
Cool.
But it was a great program. I loved my teachers. SAIT's a great place, at least in my experience. And when I got out, I didn't have to look very long to get an offer on a job at Golder. And Golder is like a huge company all around the world. Yeah. So it was quite fortunate that I got in with them. That's great. They're a great company to work for. I really enjoy it.
That's the only place you've been. Wow, that's awesome.
And I think next year will be my 10 years there.
Wow.
So that's 2 10-year careers under my belt.
Nice. Nailed it.
Yeah. And I enjoy my work. Like I enjoy the analytical side of it, the sort of logic around it. And it's never really boring.
And I would imagine it's gratifying to like actually see these places from where they start and where they finish. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good at the end of the day. It's
pretty interesting to know that you've been a part of, because I'll just backtrack, I guess. I started in just writing one type of report, which is a phase 1, which is sort of the desktop review of a site. Yeah. To figure out whether it needs further assessment. And so that's a pretty standard opening for a person out of school.
Oh, okay.
I did that and then sort of moved up into a technical position. So I'm not really in charge of anything, but I'm one of the sort of people that you go to for higher technical work.
Nice.
So I've been involved with sites from the phase 1 end of it straight up to the remediation.
Wow.
And getting into closure. So it's pretty neat.
That's amazing. You need like little postcards of all the, places that you've saved.
Actually, I'm supposed to go camping this weekend, and I was looking around at the map and I was like, oh, look at that gas plant. I did work on that. Maybe I'll go visit.
A little selfie.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't be doing that, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cause it's all it's not all in Alberta, but a lot of it's in Alberta. So you've probably driven by sites that I've been on or written about. So
it's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. So and I was glad that I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a big thing.
Yeah. So my career path kind of went in a way that fit me. Because a lot of people end up in project management, which I don't want to. I'm done dealing with clients. I don't want to be in charge of a big project. Yeah. I just want to, sit down and read.
Do
some math.
Make a difference.
Yeah.
Play with chemicals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah.
That's awesome. You're so I've known you for a while, not a super long time in the grand scheme of things, but I've known you for a while, and you love education.
Yes.
Like in like all over the map, like you like art, like regular art.
Yep.
At ACAD or whatever it's called now. And
I did actually. I've done art courses since I was, I don't even know what age, like 10 or prior to that. And so I've done courses, just, those community courses or whatever, kids courses. But I also did a year of photography at Sheridan College.
Oh, nice.
In Ontario. And recently I've done a bunch of stuff at ACAD. So everything from drawing to painting to like oil, acrylic painting.
Yeah.
What else did I do? Ink, cartooning.
Well, with our buddy
yes,
down the hall.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of continually learning, I guess.
Yeah.
And I find I can do that at my job as well. It's not you don't have to sign up for a course. You just learn as you go, and it's
Oh, that's great.
So I'll get stagnant when I stop learning.
Yeah,
probably.
So, and recently, I don't know when you went to Sheridan for the photography. How long ago was that?
Well, that was in the olden days.
Oh, in the days of yore.
With film.
Ooh, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was film. And I think probably their digital program may have started like a year or two. Don't quote me on that, but it was like, digital was coming up, but the class was still, or the program was still film. Wow. And I got to play with one of those like 4x5 cameras.
Oh,
like
amazing.
With like the sheet over your head.
And the.
Yeah. And I don't think we quite had like powdered chemicals for our flashes, but you could pretend. Yeah. Yeah. And if anyone out there thinks that their DSLR is heavy. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah. Back in your day.
Yeah.
You used to take your camera uphill both ways.
Tripod in one arm and like 4x5 camera. That's probably about as big as that speaker in your studio.
Huh. So fast forward to, recently you're doing a lot of digital photography stuff. Mm-hmm. And we'll put links to like where people can see your stuff because it's really freaking awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm not just pumping your tires here. Like it's exceptional. And you're doing stuff with Vantage Magazine here in town. You're publishing your own stuff. You did things with, I want to say, the Special Olympics. Did I get that right?
Well, it was special to me, but no, it was the Canada Games.
Canada Games.
Yeah.
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 Thank you. Can you sort of walk me through how you end up getting there? Like that's awesome.
Well, I started doing photography again back in the days of film. I think my first sort of foray into it a bit more seriously was in high school.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to have a darkroom in the high school. So that's where I started to do darkroom stuff and loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I kind of got away from it in the years after. I did it for a while, but it sort of petered out until I went to school in Sheridan. And then Sheridan kind of bittered my taste for photography.
Really?
There's a reason why I only did 1 year.
Oh, can I ask why? Or is it too painful?
I don't know. The story I tell myself is that it's sort of an applied photography course, and maybe I would have done better in sort of a fine art situation. But it was very like, I remember doing this. It might sound funny to people, but we had to do an assignment where you got milk to look white. So when you're enlarging color film, you have to get all the like different colors correct.
Oh, sure.
So getting something like true white is actually quite a challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't just send it to blacks,
Fix this up.
So anyway, I took this picture of a guy in my class and it was kind of silly and there was spilt milk and I just remember my teacher just saying like, well, you couldn't sell milk with that. And I was like, okay. So it just seemed like there was, I'm sure it wasn't all that, but it did seem like there was a little bit of a creative stifling, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I also found it difficult to not have a car and be, as I say, carrying this huge camera. Sure. So I was a bit bound by my environment.
You're like the cello player. Like, why did I pick this instrument?
Yeah. Maybe I'll try tuba. Oh, wait, no.
Damn it. Grand piano.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But another part of me thinks that I probably just wasn't ready to move into that world.
Yeah.
So I stopped sort of doing photography for quite a while. And then picked it up. I don't know. I want to say like 7 years ago again.
Wow.
Got a little DSLR used.
Yeah.
And just started taking classes. So I was fortunate enough to be able to afford to take some classes.
Yeah.
And I went through the Mount Royal certificate for photography.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that was fun. And that's how I got into the Canada Games thing.
Yeah.
So one of my teachers who teaches quite a few of the courses in that program had found I can't remember where he got it, but that they were looking for volunteers for photographers. And it was like,
wow,
that sounds amazing. So
and their shots are so good.
We had some great talent on that team for sure. Yeah. And it was so fun. It was actually Red Deer's games, so we didn't get a lot of the events down here. Right. So I did kind of strange artistic swimming, which is what synchro is called now.
Oh.
Which doesn't seem like a winter thing, but apparently there's just so many sports that, like, if you just did the summer ones, they would, like, you'd have a 7-week long event, I guess.
Yeah. Which ones can we do indoors?
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, synchro swimming is always done inside. So can do it whenever.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, we had that here, and we had the half pipe skiing.
Yeah.
And half pipe snowboard, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
did it freak you out when they like go right over your head? Or were you pretty chill?
It's funny because Canada Games is for youth. So I think if you're above 18, you're not. Oh, okay. Like you're out.
Yeah.
So it's fairly young people involved. And I didn't know this till I volunteered there, but apparently Canada Olympic Park, I don't know, is it still called that? But
think so.
COP
used to be Pascapoo in my day.
Yes. It has the largest and deepest half pipe in Canada. Oh, wow. I think.
I believe that.
So a lot of the people who've only done stuff in, say, Quebec or Ontario.
Oh, they're like, what
they were
the
terrified.
Hell? Yeah.
So
shit.
So you got a lot of just sort of swinging back and forth.
Yeah.
Down the pipe with no real action. Like a lot of them didn't get even really above the lip. So
gotcha.
Because we got to stand down each side of the pipe.
Right.
So yeah, you would have, the people who could sort of master it, I guess.
Yeah.
Could be sort of coming up right in your face.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was freezing, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess as far as kind of, I don't know if I want to call it commercial work, but collaborative work, I guess. Okay. I found a lot of that through you, of course, and my sister.
Yeah.
So that's been great as well. I still am, I don't think I would call myself a professional. And I certainly don't have sort of a business going around it, but it's something I'm contemplating and not sure.
Yeah. Would you, and like, I mean, you don't strike me as someone who would be a wedding photographer.
That is absolutely what I never want to do.
But like, maybe selling your photography as art pieces. Yeah. It seems to be more kind of what I see when I look at your stuff. And again, people, when you're listening, check out the links because you can go check out her stuff, and especially your macro things. It's so good. But you're also really great at capturing moments, like with people, which I think is rare. Yeah.
It's pretty much you just shoot like constantly for 3 hours and you'll find one. No, just kidding.
Not entirely untrue, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy doing that behind the scenes stuff. Because you're sort of, it's not like people don't notice you, but you're just kind of, you're in the background and you're not, you don't have to be sort of in the spotlight. You're just taking shots. Wedding photography to me is just would be so much stress for me. Yeah. I'm sure that once you get a few under your belt, you're fine. But like, I don't know, weddings just seem to be a flashpoint for, I wanted it this way. Yeah. Not to mention the fact that what happens if you accidentally delete your card. Yeah. Right. And I've heard stories from other people that have gone that route, and they're just like, it's terrifying. Yeah. Shot the whole thing with Well, it was funny when I was doing the behind the scenes thing with you a few weeks ago. I had a whole bunch of other photos from something else, like quite a few, like hundreds. And I just was too terrified to try and delete them because I'd already started taking pictures for your thing.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'll get it wrong. So anyway, yeah. So I understand that fear quite a bit. And again, it's working with sort of the public.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
100%. Just, the demands of other people's vision, I guess, or
expectations and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I mean, it is an event that I was going to say only happens once, but that's less and less true.
Who really looks at their wedding album anyways? Really, you could put anybody's picture in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just get one for the cover, and then the rest can be
take them all out of in Walmart.
Yeah.
If you're buying frames, just take out those pictures of those people.
That's how you make money, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Solved.
You have just learned the secrets of photography.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you could, if there's 5 things in the world that everybody needs to know, what are they?
How to change a tire.
Hell yes. Fuck yes.
I guess I should ask in what context? In
Any
context. A creative context?
No, it doesn't matter. Whatever you think that is lacking in the world right now of knowledge.
Lacking in the world.
Yeah. What do people need to know?
Well,
I'm using number 1 as the tire, by the way, because I think that's perfect. I agree.
Let's see. Well, there's a lot of, I'm really upset about the amount of mistrusting science right now. So that's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Being sort of a scientist.
You're not sort of a scientist.
Well, I don't think I can technically call myself a scientist because I don't have a master. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Do you do science?
I do science.
There you go.
Okay.
So I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And I mean, it's difficult because there's so much out there to look at, and it just snowballs.
Right.
And there's so much you can read, and one day something's true, the next day it's not, and if you have to take kind of a critical look at it and see why that might be. Science is ever evolving, and our understanding of the world is ever evolving. So you can't just be like, scientists are lying to us because, a study last week said something different than the one this week. So,
but last week it was as right as it could be.
Right.
And this week, because of the scientific method, it was proven wrong. And we can be like, oh, okay, we learned some stuff along the way.
Though, I don't know. Sometimes you learn about the scientific method and it's not infallible.
No, of course not. Yeah.
And then
so we shouldn't blindly, follow science. But again, critical thinking is key.
Yeah. But I mean, we're also beholden to whoever is going to parse all of that intricate scientific terminology and send it out into the world in some way that you can understand it. Right. So I think the media kind of has its responsibility that's sometimes lacking.
Oh yeah. Could not agree more.
Right. It's like, let's take this sensational thing that's out of your hypothesis. Yeah. And it's like, it's totally proven. No. No. I just said it shows promise and
You promised me?
Yeah.
Scientist promises world hunger ends. What? Yeah, there's one thing to totally, and I'm not saying distrust the media because whatever, but I mean, critical thinking has to come into play.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to be aware of where you're getting your information from, and sort of, there's always an agenda for anybody, for scientists. Yeah. I mean, there's still agendas. Just hopefully that they're not sticking to them when the data doesn't prove what they want. But and it just becomes, it seems to be such a divisive world right now that it's kind of scary. Yeah.
All right. So you got 2. You got
2. Oh my God.
Change the tires.
How many do I need to have?
You need 3 more.
3 more?
Yeah. And then you have, trust science.
Right. 3 more. Things that everyone should know.
Yeah.
A really good recipe for lasagna?
Yes. Okay. Ricotta or cottage cheese?
Oh, that's a deep question there, Mike.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm a fan more of the ricotta cheese.
Yeah, okay.
It's quite rich. I eat it just in a bowl on its own with fruit. Yes. Love it.
Yeah. And how many layers to your lasagna? Is it just...
Well, it sort of depends on your pan.
That's true.
Right? So I feel like I get maybe 3 layers.
That's pretty normal.
Maybe.
Would you ever go 4 layer if you had the opportunity?
Well, I don't know. That's a bit excessive.
A little bit. Yeah. Okay,
Considering it all ends up in soup anyway. It's just a cheesy goodness.
Good. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one.
Okay, that's good. It's 3. Good lasagna recipe.
Yep. I think actually everyone should take anthropology.
Oh.
It's something I thought when I did my course, and it doesn't have to be a anthropology, like 4-year, thousands of dollars in debt degree.
Yeah.
But I just found that learning about how other people in other worlds, like other cultures, even other countries that are similar to our culture, how they view things and how they order the world. So we sort of take this as one kind of example that sort of puzzled me during my degree, taking anthropology and biology at the same time.
Yeah.
So we were learning about, I think it's Linnaeus who did all the sort of genus species, the taxonomy of things. Yeah. So you belong to this group because you all have 2 feet or whatever it is. And I was also learning in anthropology that other cultures have totally different ways of organizing their world, right? So, it something like a genus species to us seems like fact, right? Absolute fact.
Yeah.
But it's not really.
It's just how we chose to interpret it. It's just how we
chose to organize and classify things. So, and like deeper into genetics, there's probably actually some truth to it, but
yeah. Man, that's kind of cool.
Trying to remember. Okay, I was listening to a podcast and I can't remember what it was, but I think they were talking about a book. I should probably not even tell this story because I'm not sure of all the facts, but basically it was called, I think, There's No Such Thing as Fish. And she went through the information about fish, and a lot of them are more related to other species than they are to each other, but they're all, in quotes, fish.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fascinating.
The world has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody should do the anthropology thing now that you bring it up. Like, I think that's it just makes sense. There's tons of issues in anthropology. Like it's filled with racism back in the day, right? It was colonialist and, you know, the brown person is less worthy than the white person, that kind of thing is all like strewn throughout anthropology. So it's not infallible, but the whole sort of just reading and really listening to how other people view their world and how they think about things. Yeah.
And just to know that there are different ways of thinking is, to me, it's kind of liberating, as well as it sort of creates in you maybe more empathy for other different people than you might have. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do that, people.
Do that.
Yeah, do that.
Just read.
Just anthropologize.
Yeah.
Anthropologize.
Yeah.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah.
All right, one more. Yeah, final one.
This is kind of large, but I feel like everyone should also investigate where their food and products come from.
Yeah.
It sounds, really big, but I think there's a lot of things that are wrong with the world.
Yeah.
That are all linked to our food production and
for sure,
and goods production. And it sort of flows into, socioeconomics and the environment and, even global politics.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
That's another one. I'm sure there's many other things we should all strive to know, but yeah.
That's awesome. Those are great things. Man, I got some work to do. I'm so lame.
You're going to learn about the world's supply chain management now, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to become an expert. Right? Changing rebel to supply chain rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Or whatever.
Geoanthropological supply chain managers.
Anthropologize.
Oh.
That's going to be my new book.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Okay. So, as you're now, I'm not saying you're coming to the end of your 10-year career because, you're.
Well, I would like to retire, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah. What do you see sort of the next year or two looking like for you when it comes to your art and photography?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm sort of contemplating becoming more professional. So yeah. Even if it's selling stuff on my shop, if and when I have one, or, offering to do event photography or whatever it is. Yeah. I feel like that's probably in my future in the next couple of years. But I really am thinking fairly hard about it. Yeah. I do have a full-time job. I'm also working with a magazine and
Vantage magazine. They're awesome.
Yeah. I can't have too much on my plate or I just kind of fizzle out and I'm no good to anybody.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's nice being busy doing stuff you enjoy and that's great. But at some point it can be overwhelming. Yeah. So I like my job, my professional job. Yeah. I enjoy it, but it feels like work.
Right.
It's work.
Sure.
Right. So I don't want photography to become work, I guess. So I don't want to put all, pressure on myself to do A, B, and C, right. If that's not sort of right for me. Yeah. So yeah, but I feel like it's probably at some point I'll be selling pieces. Yeah. Art.
That's good. Well, yeah. Come on, you've sold some art pieces. Mm-hmm, I know this to be true.
Yep.
You've been paid for your event photography skills several times over. Yep. So I'm just going to throw it out here that you are a professional photographer,
right? Okay.
In a pretty broad, or not a broad spectrum, but there's some areas that you're really freaking good at that you get paid for.
Yeah.
So
I guess by professional, I mean that like I've gotten that GST number. I've set up my, bought a domain, like right. all those things to set yourself up as being sort of maybe like officially professional.
Yeah.
But a business.
A business, sure.
Yeah. So
I think business and professional are two very different things.
That's true. Yeah. So, and I mean, I guess I do have that photography certificate, so it's not like I'm untrained either. So, right. So yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So and I know you've listened to the show before. Towards the end, I like to ask every one of my guests what advice they would give to these people that I call rebels in waiting, which are maybe the Colleen of yore working at Indigo, trying to figure out what she's going to do. What advice would you give yourself, or what advice would you give others to sort of help them along the way to sort of find their passion?
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I knew you were going to ask me. And I guess my answer, and I've heard this from other guests and it just sounds so stupid, but it's true, is just do it. Right. Like, and I'll give you an example of someone sort of talking themselves out of doing things. So it's my dad. Yeah. Right. So when I started sort of playing with cameras, it was my dad's camera. Yeah. And he'd only used it for, like family snaps or whatever. Yeah. And he ended up giving it to me and I still have it. And I've done, fast forward, I don't know, 30 years or whatever it is. And he gets, okay, I'll back up. He always would talk about my work as, oh my gosh, you have a great eye. Yeah. A great eye for composition. How did you do that? I could never do that. Like, I just don't have the eye or whatever. I just that's a totally strange world to me and I don't get it kind of thing. And, you know, sort of in awe. Yeah. Right. So fast forward to just, I guess, a year or two ago, he inherited a pretty good camera from his uncle and a whole bunch of lenses. And just like my uncle was the guy who'd spend like, oh, is that not the most expensive? Well, get the most expensive for me. Yeah. And he wasn't professional in any way. He just liked gear.
An enthusiast.
And he enjoyed it. And so my dad inherited this camera and he's like, you know, I better make use of it. I'm like, yep, sure. So he came out here for a visit and he went to the mountains. I think he went by himself and he took some photos. Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, I'll show you when I get back and I can sort of, you know, edit them or whatever. Yeah. And so he sends me some photos and I was like almost dreading it because I'm like, well, am I going to have to be like, oh, yeah, those are really good. And I was blown away by how good they were. Wow. Like blown away. And like great composition, you know, great subject matter. The exposure was like, there was just, and they were wonderful. Wow. So I was like almost giddy, so happy that he, you know, these were just like basically his first photos he'd taken in like 40, 50 years or whatever it is.
Imagine if he dedicated time to it?
Well, but that's what's happened. So now he's bought a better camera. Nice. And he's taken a class or two. And he and I sort of had this back and he lives in Ontario for people who don't know, but so we have this sort of back and forth conversation sort of going about like, what are you shooting? What are you doing? And we share photos back and forth on Flickr. And he's been really enjoying it.
That's awesome.
And he's just kind of he sounds tickled pink that he's doing that and enjoying it. Yeah. And partially too, he lives alone in a fairly small, a really small town. Yeah. And so COVID comes in and it's like, you know, even more isolated. And he was just doing photography. He's retired. Yeah. He can do it, you know? And, so it just, I don't know, it makes me so happy that to see this guy who'd convinced himself or someone had convinced him that he was not creative, not talented. Yeah. You know, he's a science guy for sure. He was a scientist as well. Yeah. So just try it, I guess. Yeah. And right now is a great time to learn things, I find. You know, because photography can be super expensive, right? Yeah. Most people right now, though, have a phone.
Pretty good cameras on these things.
And you can buy a pretty reasonably priced, I mean, it always depends on your budget, camera, used or whatever. And it's never been so accessible because you don't have to deal with film, getting it developed. And if you're doing it at home, chemicals, where do you put the chemicals? Do you have a darkroom in your house? Yeah. Do you know, it's cost upon cost upon cost. Whereas right now, photography, you just find a camera and it doesn't have to be crazy. Yeah. And you just like, you do need some hard drive space and a computer would be good. Yeah. But I feel like most people have a computer now for work or whatever, right? It's kind of ubiquitous now to have some kind of computer. Yeah. And even if it's just your phone, you can edit photos on your phone. And if you can't afford a class for anything, there's YouTube is the best place in the world.
Right, it's got like everything.
You can do anything. Like a few months ago, I was like, I think I want to try animating. So I went online and I ended up buying this very, very cheap little program, which is great, and just tried it. You know, that's awesome. Why not? Yeah, you can get a free copy sometimes, like a trial copy. Just
try it for 15 days, see if you like it.
Yeah. If you don't like it, don't do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I find that like there's no excuse really, except for the ones you make in your own head to not try something that you're interested in. You don't have to be the best at it.
Well, I think,
you might find out you hate it.
So long as you enjoy it.
At least you tried it. Yeah. So, and then I guess practice. You can't be, you know, a star the first time you try something.
What?
I know.
The hell you say?
I'm sorry.
Damn it.
But I think a lot of people, they end up just comparing themselves to others.
Sure.
And, your stuff isn't bad or worse than anyone else's, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have more professional, whatever.
Yeah.
But yours might just be different. You have a different style. You don't have to take those moody, dark photos if that's not what you want.
Right.
So
you could be a bunny photographer if you wanted to be.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. That's what you specialize in. Niche down to bunnies.
Yeah. Actually, I follow a pet photographer online and just, her shots, I think it's her, Houndstooth Studio, I think.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, they're just great. This must be so much fun.
Yeah. Finding character, right?
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. Though you might have to scoop poop, I guess, after you're,
Well,
the only studio
you'd have
with
people
dookies.
For that. Interns.
Yeah.
Get over here, intern. Colleen said I had to practice.
Oh, yeah.
This has been absolutely lovely, Colleen. Thank you so much
thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any last words?
Eat more lasagna.
You can find out more about every one of our guests in the show notes at therebelrebelpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe to The Rebel Rebel wherever you get your favorite podcasts. I'm your host, Michael Dargy. Thank you so much for listening.